Every bird in this film will face danger. Some will run. Some will wait. Some will stay still long enough to die if they are wrong. This is not about beauty. It's about cost. A world shaped by pressure, where heat turns water into risk, where distance grows between food and safety, and where stillness becomes the only way forward. Here, landscapes do not comfort. They test. They expose. They decide who adapts and who fails. From shadows that trap without movement, to open skies where visibility becomes danger, to frozen ground where survival begins by waiting. These birds endure not by chance, but by preparation, precision, and restraint. In this episode from BBTV Official, we follow the amazing life of birds through quiet strategies, costly choices, and the systems that hold them together in a world that never stays still. This bird is noticed for its beauty, and that attention can end everything before the nest is finished. Many people remember this bird for how it looks. Long tail, soft flight, easy to notice. That memory is a mistake. Beauty pulls the eye, but it also pulls danger. A bright body means nothing if the wrong thing sees it first. What keeps this bird alive is not the feathers people admire. It is the nest. Beauty is visible. The nest is hidden. One invites attention, the other removes it. Survival depends on the second, not the first. The nest does not appear at once. The bird leaves the branch, gathers material, flies back, checks the spot, leaves again. One place fails. Another is tested. This loop repeats again and again. Every flight exposes movement. Every return fixes a pattern in space. Predators learn patterns fast. The longer the work takes, the clearer the signal becomes. Building is not calm labor. It is timed risk, repeated until something breaks or holds. The materials are chosen for control, not for looks. Fine grass shapes the cup, light enough to hold eggs without weight pulling them down. Spider silk binds the frame, stretching when the branch moves, tightening when the wind shifts. Lichen coats the outside. Its color matches bark. From a distance, the nest stops being an object and becomes background. Each choice removes a weakness. Nothing here exists to impress. Everything exists to reduce detection or collapse. Every choice carries a cost. Build too strong, and time increases. Time invites eyes. Build too fast, and the nest fails under motion. Place it too open, and it is seen. Hide it too deep, and entry slows. Feeding suffers. Control is lost. There is no safe option. Only a narrow line where risk stays low enough. Long enough. A small error does not damage the nest. It ends the attempt entirely. When viewers wait for a graceful flight, this bird delivers something quieter. Life does not begin with movement. It begins with preparation. The nest is small. It does not look important. But every future moment, every egg, every return, every flight that comes later, depends on this fragile structure holding together, unseen. This drink takes seconds. Staying longer means being seen, and being seen means death. Drinking water sounds simple. Here, it is not. In dry land, nothing is free. Water gathers life, and it also gathers risk. A small bird at the edge of a pool is not resting. It is visible, still, out of cover. The moment the dove lands, it gives up control of distance. Any watcher nearby now knows where to look. The dove does not arrive to stay. It arrives to leave. Wings fold, feet touch ground. The body lowers. Water taken. Wings open again. Each step is tight in time. The longer it stays, the more fixed it becomes. A waiting hunter must hold position, must stay still, must risk being seen by others. Time drains from both sides, but only one can afford delay. The drinking is fast. The head dips, rises, dips again. Never long. Eyes do not rest. They scan the shore, then the sky, then the edge behind. This speed creates pressure. A predator that waits for a perfect moment loses it. Move too early, and the bird lifts off. Move too late, and the chance is gone. The prey leaves. The hunter stays exposed. Waterholes pull more than one life. Hunters come too. But staying longer raises their cost. Heat builds. Focus narrows. Other threats appear. If the dove slows, it risks the strike. If it does not drink, weakness follows later. There is no safe path, only the shorter danger. In some places, survival means choosing the smaller risk. The Namakwa dove does not wait for safety. It reduces time. One drink, one wager. The bird leaves with water inside. The predator is left empty, seen, and still standing where it chose to wait. The tail attracts a mate and gives predators something easy to follow. Beauty here is not a reward. It is a signal. The long tail says the bird can survive while carrying it. That signal forces a response. Predators do not ignore it. A larger shape is easier to lock onto. A slow sweep in the air fixes direction. What looks impressive to one watcher becomes a clear line of movement to another. The signal works, but it also narrows options. The bird does not hide the tail. It shows it. It flies low, slow, and long. The path stays open. The height stays risky. Each second in the air adds distance covered, but also adds time being tracked. A predator does not need to rush. It can wait, follow, and let the display continue. The longer the show lasts, the more control shifts away from the bird. The tail changes the body. Turns widen. Speed builds late. Sudden lift costs more effort. What draws attention also delays escape. A hunter that commits early must work harder. One that waits gains advantage. The prey's display stretches the chase and exposes every correction in flight. Control leaks with each adjustment. When danger closes in, beauty offers no defense. The tail can be grabbed, clipped, or simply followed. But without it, the bird loses its chance to breed. It chooses the future over ease. That choice means living each day with less margin. Predators benefit from this trade. They face a target that announces itself and carries its own drag. In nature, beauty is never free. It demands payment in effort and risk. The long-tailed widow bird keeps flying, carrying the cost behind it, knowing that every display feeds both desire and danger. One wrong step here breaks the surface, and sound travels faster than escape. For many birds, water blocks movement. Here, it becomes ground. The point is not living near it, but stepping onto it. Each leaf holds only if weight stays spread. One wrong step breaks the surface, and sound travels. A splash removes surprise, fixes location, and turns space into a signal. Balance is not comfort. It is constant control over being seen. The bird moves with care, steps light, slow, measured, never rushed. Feeding keeps it exposed. Movement stays even to avoid shaking the leaves. When danger appears, the rhythm breaks at once. Feeding stops. The body turns. Attention locks onto the chicks. There is no pause, no test step. Protection replaces distance in the same moment, and that choice removes escape. The body carries the answer. Long toes spread weight across floating leaves. Pressure drops. The surface holds. A light frame keeps plants from sinking. Motion stays quiet. Wings open wide, not to lift off, but to cover what cannot run. This shape works here, and only here. It solves balance while fixing the bird to this unstable floor. Living on water removes solid shelter. Wind shifts footing. Waves rewrite paths. Threats rise from below. When the adult covers the chicks, its outline grows larger. Contrast sharpens, and attention pulls inward. Hiding the young means revealing the parent. The predator gains a clear point to strike. The trade is instant and final. Some species rely on strength, others on speed. This one relies on fit. The body matches the place. And when risk closes in, it chooses first to shield the young, then accepts whatever cost follows, standing exposed on moving ground that never fully forgives a mistake. Every return to land feeds the chick and teaches predators exactly when to wait. On land, the puffin looks out of place. Slow steps, stiff balance, and easy target if danger comes close. That weakness is real. Distance disappears. Takeoff costs time. But this body does not belong only to land. The mistake is judging it there. Survival depends on switching worlds, and every switch carries a price. The bird drops into the sea to hunt, then must return to land to feed its chick. This loop repeats day after day. There is no long rest. Each trip fixes a route in space. Each return marks a time window predators can learn. The longer the cycle runs, the clearer the pattern becomes. Routine creates food, but it also creates predictability. Underwater, wings stop being wing, they turn into paddles, pulling the body forward with short, tight strokes. Fish are taken fast. Several are held at once. Fewer trips mean less time exposed in the air, but carrying more adds drag. Speed drops. The surface becomes harder to break through. Every gain underwater reshapes the risk above it. The problem is not only catching fish, it is finding them. As water warms, currents shift. Schools move farther out. Distance grows. Flight takes longer. Fat burns faster. The adult arrives later, lighter, with less margin left. The chick waits longer between feeds. Hunger stretches time, and time raises failure. The puffin is not weak. It is not making a mistake. The pressure has changed. Two worlds now pull in opposite ways. One demands more travel, The other gives less return. The bird keeps flying, keeps diving, while the finish line moves outward, forcing effort to rise just to stay in place. If this bird moves even once, the egg touches ice, and the story ends. When people think of raising young, they imagine movement, hunting, guarding, searching for food. Here, that idea collapses. This bird does not chase prey. It does not travel. It does not eat. At the start of life, it does nothing that looks active. Survival begins by staying still, and staying still removes every easy escape. The male lifts the egg onto his feet, presses it against his body, and locks himself in place. Weeks pass. Wind cuts across open ice. Cold builds without sunlight. The ground offers no shelter. Time stretches, and with it, exposure. Standing means the body becomes a wall against weather, but it also becomes a fixed point in a moving storm. There is no short version of this task, only endurance measured in days. The egg cannot touch the ice, not for seconds. One slip breaks the seal. Heat drains fast. Death follows. The bird's body blocks wind, traps warmth, and holds position. Movements slow to almost nothing. Each shift risks balance. Each correction risks contact with the ground. Control here is not speed. It is restraint. During this time, the bird does not feed. It burns what it already carries. Fat turns into heat. Heat turns into time. If storms last longer than expected, reserves thin. There is no backup plan. One stumble ends the attempt. One moment of loss erases the future that has not yet begun. Some species live by chasing, others by moving first. The emperor penguin lives by waiting. It absorbs cold, hunger, and stillness, so the egg does not have to. The bird does not act for its young. It endures in its place, holding the cost until something hatches, or until there is nothing left to give. Nothing attacks this bird. The world simply moves farther away each day. This is not a story of pursuit. No strike, no chase, no sudden end. Nothing grabs this bird from the surface. Nothing pulls it under. What happens instead is slower. Numbers thin, nests empty. Absence spreads without noise. The danger here does not rush in. It stays invisible, and that makes it harder to escape. The bird keeps its routine. It swims out to sea, dives for fish, then returns to land. That pattern stays the same. What changes is distance. Each trip reaches farther. Each return takes longer. Time stretches between feeding and rest. The body follows old timing, but the world no longer matches it. Familiar behavior now produces less food and more delay. This bird depends on what the coast once offered. Fish used to stay close. The shore held steady. Now schools shift away. Water moves differently. The land edge breaks and reshapes. When the place changes, the rhythm breaks with it. The penguin does not choose new rules. It inherits them, already late. Loss comes without a single blow. Adults burn more energy on every trip. Chicks wait longer, then longer again. Weight drops. Strength fades. Not because the bird fails, but because effort no longer pays back. Survival turns into debt. Each day costs more than the last, and nothing resets the balance. Some species disappear because another is stronger. This one fades for a different reason. The threat has no claws, no teeth, no face. It does not hunt. It replaces the ground beneath the rules. The African penguin shows what happens when survival stays the same. But the world decides not to. Move too soon, and the hunt fails. Wait too long, and hunger wins instead. Many think hunting means speed, a fast move, a sudden rush. Speed makes water break, sound spread, attention rise. For this bird, speed comes last. The first step is stillness. Standing removes noise, removes waves, removes warning. By not moving, the heron takes away the prey's first defense, early notice. It steps into shallow water and stops. The body freezes. Legs lock. Time stretches. Small fish swim closer, then closer still, learning the shape as part of the river. Waiting fixes the bird in place, but it also erases urgency. The longer nothing happens, the safer the space feels to everything else moving through it. The neck folds back, tight and loaded. Muscles hold tension without release. Eyes track small shifts, tiny turns, brief flashes of light under the surface. When the strike comes, it comes once. No swing follows, no correction. A miss means shock through the water, a scatter of motion, and a long reset with no food gained. Waiting carries cost. Choose the wrong spot, and hours pass empty. Move too soon, and the prey flees before the strike begins. Hold too long, and energy drains without return. Patience here is not calm. It is pressure held inside the body, risk stored in muscle and time. In nature, faster does not always win. Sometimes, winning means doing nothing at all. The gray heron stands, unmoving, until the moment arrives. And if that moment slips past, the price is paid in hunger and wasted hours, not in speed. By disturbing the water, this bird finds food and tells everyone where it stands. Many birds try to keep the water calm. They move slow. They avoid sound. This one does the opposite. It creates motion. Still, water hides too much. Silence protects prey. By breaking the surface, the egret gives up stealth on purpose. That choice trades quiet safety for information, and information always costs exposure. The bird steps into shallow water and begins to stir. Feet move back and forth. Mud lifts. The clear surface turns cloudy. Fish are not caught because they are seen, but because they are forced to react. Movement pushes them out of cover. Escape paths shrink. What was hidden now has to choose a direction. This is not random action. The motion stays steady, controlled, repeated. Too fast, and prey scatters wide. Too slow, and nothing moves at all. The bird reads the water as it changes. The environment becomes part of the hunt. But control here depends on balance. Lose it, and chaos spreads too far to manage. Disturbance does not belong to one hunter. Stirring water sends signals outward. Other predators notice. The egret's position sharpens with every step. Standing still would lower risk, but it would also bring hunger. Action brings food. Action also brings eyes. Some species survive by hiding. Others survive by speed. This one survives by causing trouble first. The little egret accepts being seen because in that brief confusion, the prey moves wrong, and that mistake is enough. Here, hunting without seeing saves time, but removes the chance to hesitate. Hunting is often linked to sight, seeing first, striking second. In cloudy water, that rule fails. Vision shortens, shapes blur. Waiting to see means waiting too long. This bird does not slow down to look. It accepts not knowing, and that choice removes hesitation while creating a new kind of risk. The spoonbill moves through shallow water, sweeping its bill side to side, slow, even, unbroken. There is no pause to aim, no still moment to judge. The body keeps pace while the head follows a fixed arc. Each sweep covers space, but it also fixes position. Repetition builds food, and repetition also builds a pattern others can notice. The bill explains the method: wide, flat, shaped to increase contact. More surface means more chance. When something touches the edges, the bill snaps shut at once. There is no test, no check. Fish, insect, anything small enough triggers the same response. Speed replaces sight, but speed removes choice. Sweep the wrong area and nothing happens. Move too fast and contact is missed. Stay too long and energy drains without return. This method works only inside a narrow rhythm. The bird must trust timing over control. A mistake does not injure. It wastes time, and wasted time weakens the body. Not every kind of survival depends on watching closely. Sometimes it depends on letting the body decide faster than the mind can. The African spoonbill moves forward, sweeping blindly, accepting exposure and loss of certainty, because in this water, hesitation costs more than contact ever will. By creating shade, this bird gives up movement and commits to staying exposed. Many hunters close distance by speed. This bird does not. It stays where it is. It does not rush. It does not chase. Instead, it changes the light around the prey. By doing that, it gives up movement and escape, trading motion for exposure. The body becomes fixed. Leaving now would cost time. The bird spreads its wings wide, head lowered, legs locked, body still. A patch of shade forms on the water, like a small tent. The surface darkens. Reflections fade. For the fish below, the world shifts without warning. Light drops, space feels tighter, and attention turns inward. The heron does not move, and that stillness removes noise but also removes distance. The shade cuts glare. Water becomes clearer. Fish see better, and by seeing better, they drift closer. The same light that helps them read space also outlines their bodies. The bird waits. It does not strike yet. By holding the shadow, it forces the prey to adjust first. Control moves from the fish to the space above it. Holding the wings open costs strength. Muscles burn. Balance strains. The wide shape makes the bird easier to notice from far away. If the sun shifts or the angle is wrong, the shadow breaks, and the effort gives nothing back. This method spends energy before food appears. There is no guarantee of return. Not every species survives by force. Some survive by changing conditions. The black heron turns darkness into a tool, but the tool fixes it in place, tired and visible. When the strike finally comes, it must work. because every second before it already carried a cost. This bird survives only as long as its host tolerates one more peck. Shared life is often told as balance, two sides gaining the same reward. Here, that idea breaks early. This bird does not offer clean help. It lands on a large body, close to skin, close to movement, giving up distance at once. If the host reacts, there is no space to escape. Safety depends on being tolerated, not protected. The oxpecker settles on the back of a large animal. It picks ticks and small parasites. The host feels less itch, less pull on the skin. That is the benefit. But the beak does not stop there. It moves to open wounds, soft edges, fresh blood. Feeding continues where healing should begin. Relief and harm happen in the same place. Removing parasites lowers stress on the host. Returning to wounds keeps food flowing for the bird. The same action that helps also delays repair. The host carries the cost longer. The bird gains time and access. This balance holds only while irritation stays below a limit. Once that line is crossed, tolerance ends. If the host shakes, bucks, or turns its head, the bird can be thrown off. Losing the perch means losing food, but staying means risking a stronger response. The oxpecker must judge each moment, how far to push, when to pull back. A wrong choice brings pain or hunger. Control never fully belongs to either side. Not all partnerships are clean. Some last only because they are less costly than the alternative. The oxpecker survives inside that narrow space, feeding where it is allowed, retreating before it is forced, living between help and harm where one more peck can end the deal. Stopping saves energy, but stopping also removes lift, control, and safety. Small often means fragile. Here, it means pressure. This bird runs on constant output. It does not save energy. It burns it. Every moment alive costs fuel, and stopping removes lift, removes control, removes safety. Size does not protect it. Size forces it to stay active. Wings beat without rest. The heart drives fast. Time drains energy every second. Hovering holds position, but fixes location. Flying spends fuel, but keeps options open. Pause too long, and strength drops. Drop strength, and control slips. For this bird, rest itself becomes a risk. Energy comes from nectar, quick intake, quick burn. The bird moves from flower to flower, carrying pollen without choice. Feeding gives power, but it also locks the bird into a route. Each visit repeats a path. Repetition shortens surprise. What feeds the bird also maps its movement. If flowers bloom less or bloom late, the system breaks. There is no deep reserve. Missed meals stack fast. Weakness appears before warning. The bird cannot wait for balance to return. It must keep moving, even when return falls behind cost. This bird is small, but it is tied to timing across the forest. When the flow of energy breaks, it does not fail slowly. It runs out. And when it goes, the exchange it carried goes with it, leaving gaps that movement alone cannot fill. Once this bird leaves land, turning back is no longer an option. A body this small suggests short range and easy limits. This bird rejects that idea. Size does not slow the decision. Once the urge rises, staying becomes the risk. Delay costs time, and time drains energy even faster than flight. The moment the journey begins, control shifts from choice to endurance. Before leaving, it feeds almost without pause. Nectar goes in. Weight builds. Not to become stronger, but to survive longer. Extra mass makes lift harder. Wing beats cost more. Control tightens. The bird accepts that burden because, without it, the flight ends early. When it leaves land behind, every safe surface disappears with it. The wings never stop. Fast, tight, exact. There is no place to rest, no current to lean on, no second path to test. Direction stays fixed because turning wastes fuel that cannot be replaced. Each mile burns what remains. Holding course keeps progress, but every small correction reduces the margin left to finish. Wind pushes against the body. Storms bend the line. Drift grows into distance lost. There is no chance to land and recover. There is no space to wait. A mistake here does not slow the trip. It ends it. Weakness appears suddenly, and once it does, there is no way to reverse it. In nature, limits are not always written into size. Sometimes they appear at the start of a decision. The ruby-throated hummingbird crosses that line once. After that, survival depends on never needing to turn back, and on carrying enough energy to finish a journey that allows no correction at all. Calling announces its position and removes surprise before the hunt even begins. Many hunters stay quiet to stay unseen. This bird does the opposite. Its call is loud, sharp, and carries far over open water. Sound travels faster than bodies. By calling, it gives away position before it hunts. Surprise is lost early. In return, it fixes space. The bird accepts being known, because control here comes from ownership, not silence. It flies low above the surface, wings steady, eyes locked on one moving point. The water never stays still. Light breaks. Fish shift. The window is short. When the moment comes, there is no delay. The dive is not a reaction. It is the end of a decision made seconds before. Once the body drops, height vanishes. Speed replaces distance, and turning away costs too much. Talons open at the last instant. Timing matters more than force. Open too soon, and water bursts upward, warning the fish. Open too late, and the grip misses. The angle must line up. The pull must lift the fish clear of the surface immediately. There is no slow drag. Either the weight leaves the water, or it pulls back. A wrong angle shifts balance. The body tips. Wings lose clean air. If the fish is too large, it resists, pulling the bird downward. Water grabs feathers. Lift weakens. Control slips fast. One bad strike can soak the body, slow flight, and force a landing in the wrong place. Each hunt risks more than hunger. The call is not just sound, it marks ground. Territory keeps hunting paths short and familiar. Without it, every strike costs more energy, more travel, more risk. Precision feeds the bird, but space protects that precision. For the African fish eagle, accuracy works only if the land and water stay its own. Lose that, and even perfect timing is no longer enough. When hunting costs too much, even a top predator must arrive second. The golden eagle is often framed as a perfect hunter. Fast, strong, exact. That image hides a weakness. Hunting depends on conditions. Wind shifts. Snow closes ground. Prey thins. Speed does not solve empty space. When the hunt fails, effort rises, exposure grows, and control drops. In those moments, choosing to hunt is not strength. It is risk. When prey is available, the eagle hunts. When weather turns or numbers fall, it does not wait for balance to return. Waiting costs energy. Searching costs flight time. The bird changes its behavior. It follows scent and sight to what is already dead. This choice removes the chase, but it fixes arrival time. The eagle now comes late, not first. Its eyes and talons work for killing. Its body also works for decay. Flesh that no longer moves still carries food. The eagle can use it. This flexibility keeps energy coming in, but it removes control over space. Carcasses attract others. The eagle must land where competitors gather. Wings fold. Escape narrows. Arriving second means facing rivals, vultures, other eagles, ground threats. Standing over a carcass fixes position and lowers lift. But hunting in bad weather risks injury, long chases, and missed strikes. One option drains energy fast. The other trades pride for time. Survival chooses the cheaper loss. The bird at the top is not the one that always kills. It is the one that lives through change. The golden eagle endures by shifting its role. Hunter when it can, scavenger when it must. Power does not keep it alive. Adaptation does. Arriving late avoids the fight, but locks the bird into a crowded, watched space. Death is often treated as an end. Here, it creates pressure. A body on the ground draws heat, smell, and eyes. Time favors rot. Delay lets danger spread. This bird enters that space without speed or surprise. It comes late by nature, and arriving late fixes it to a place others are already watching. When an animal falls, the vulture's role begins. It does not hunt. It does not chase. It lands where nothing moves. That choice removes the risk of a fight, but it replaces it with crowding. Carcasses pull rivals. Wings fold. Takeoff space shrinks. Staying means exposure. Leaving means no food. Feeding clears the ground fast. Flesh disappears. The smell fades. What remains breaks down into soil. The cycle continues, but each bite carries cost. The bird works head down, vision narrow, attention fixed. Control drops while the work is done. Safety depends on finishing before pressure builds. Eating the dead is never clean. Toxins linger. Germs wait. Food appears without warning and vanishes just as fast. Miss one chance and the body gains nothing. Stay too long and risk rises. The bird accepts unstable meals because searching for better ones costs more. Not every kind of survival creates new life. Some keep the flow from backing up. The cinereous vulture holds that line by arriving where others avoid, paying with exposure and risk so the system does not stall. Entering too early brings injury. Waiting too long leaves nothing to eat. Feeding on a carcass often looks chaotic. Wings flapping, bodies pressing, necks stretching in every direction. That picture is misleading. Chaos costs energy. Chaos creates injury. For this bird, disorder means losing food before it is eaten. Survival here depends on order, even when noise fills the air. When a body appears, the group gathers fast. Birds arrive from different angles, some landing, some circling, some waiting just outside the edge. Not all rush in. Each one reads pressure, space, and timing. Enter too early, and it is pushed back. Wait too long, and nothing remains. Food is shared, but access is earned through position. A pattern forms without signals. Larger birds tear open thick skin. Faster birds take loose pieces as they appear. Others feed once space opens. No bird controls the whole process. Trying to do everything brings conflict. Conflict wastes time. Order limits damage. But it also limits freedom. Each bird depends on the others to play their part. Crowding raises risk. Wings strike. Necks cross. Balance is lost and regained again and again. But arriving alone carries its own cost. One bird cannot open a large carcass. It waits. Energy drains. Hunger grows. Safety and food both sit inside the group, even while competition never stops. Some species survive by acting alone. This one survives by fitting into numbers. The white-backed vulture trades independence for access, following rules it did not choose. Survival here is not about strength. It is about staying inside a system where order keeps food moving before danger takes over. Flying higher means seeing first, and committing long before landing is possible. Many scavengers react only when they are already close to food. This bird does not. Its advantage starts earlier. It begins high above the ground where distance replaces speed. By choosing altitude, it gives up shelter and quick landing, trading comfort for information that arrives first. It climbs into open air, not to show off, but to see farther. From high above, movement changes shape. Patterns break. A body on the ground alters the land around it. What looks sudden below becomes clear from above. Death rarely appears without signs when seen from enough height. Flying higher expands vision. The search area grows wide. Opportunity appears sooner, long before others notice. Arriving early reduces crowd size. Fewer rivals mean faster feeding and less pressure on the ground. But choosing early also locks the path. Once the glide begins, the bird must commit to where it looked. Altitude costs energy. Wind must support the flight. Weather must stay stable. A small drift pushes the path off course. Miss the mark, and the long descent gives nothing back. Staying lower saves effort, but it guarantees arriving late, when space is gone and conflict waits. In nature, advantage is not always power. Sometimes it is timing. Rappel's vulture pays with energy and exposure to see before others do. That early sight keeps it fed, as long as the sky holds and the decision made far above the ground does not turn against it. Opening the carcass first means facing danger alone before food exists. Not every scavenger can arrive first. In the world of carcasses, the first position is the most exposed. Danger is highest before order forms. Noise draws eyes. Ground threats are still active. Very few birds can take that role without being pushed away or injured. This one does, knowing that early arrival removes safety before it brings food. The bird comes in ahead of the others. It does not circle for long. It does not wait for space to open. It walks straight to the hardest part of the body. That choice fixes its position on the ground. Wings fold. Distance disappears. Leaving now would cost time and effort already spent. The beak is large and heavy, built to tear thick skin that others cannot open. The first pulls are slow and demanding. Each movement costs strength. Head down means vision narrows. While working, the bird cannot watch everything around it. Control drops while the hide resists. When the skin finally breaks, the carcass changes from barrier to access. Arriving first means facing risk alone. Other scavengers arrive fast. Pressure builds. Space tightens. Ground predators may still be near. But without this opening step, nothing else happens. Smaller birds wait. Weaker beaks fail. Food stays locked. One bird carries the danger so the rest can eat. In nature, some tasks are avoided because they cost too much, but systems still need them done. The lappet-faced vulture survives by taking the hardest role first, paying in exposure and effort. By opening the carcass, it starts the entire chain, knowing that if it does not act early, nothing else can move forward at all. Alone, this bird is easy to choose. Together, it becomes impossible to track. A single starling offers little resistance. It is not large, not fast, not armed. Alone, it carries no advantage worth noticing. Standing by itself, it gives predators a clear shape and an easy decision. But this bird is rarely alone. Isolation here is not a state. It is a risk that must be corrected quickly. When starlings gather, thousands lift together. There is no clear leader, no signal to follow. Movement spreads through the flock like pressure through water. One turn triggers the next. A small shift multiplies across the sky. The group changes shape without warning, and that speed of change removes prediction. What forms cannot be held long enough to aim at? Each bird tracks only a few neighbors. That limit keeps reactions fast. Together, those small links create a moving mass far larger than any single body. The flock swells, folds, and stretches. A predator sees motion without edges. Choosing one target becomes work. Hesitation grows. Time is lost. Control slips while the flock keeps moving. Flying close carries danger. Wings can strike. Space tightens. Mistakes happen. But breaking away costs more. A bird that drifts out is instantly shaped, instantly chosen. The flock does not protect by shielding. It protects by removing focus. Safety exists only while the individual dissolves into the group. The starling does not survive by strength. It survives by alignment. Alone, it is easy to follow. Together, it becomes confusion made visible. In this sky, survival is not about standing out. It is about matching pace, holding distance, and staying inside a motion that no predator can fully control. Building attracts attention long before it attracts a mate. Many birds attract a mate with color or song. This one does not. It stays plain. It stays quiet. Instead, it puts everything into an object that can be judged. By doing that, it gives up movement and safety. While others can leave, this bird must stay close to what it builds. And staying close fixes its position. The work starts strand by strand. Grass is pulled, looped, tightened. Knots form slowly. The nest hangs where it can be seen, not hidden. Each trip for material repeats the same path. Repetition removes surprise. Time stretches. Energy drains. The longer the work takes, the longer the bird stays exposed to eyes that notice patterns. The structure becomes the message. A strong weave shows control. A high position lowers some threats, but raises others. Wind tests the knots. Height means a fall if balance slips. Every detail sends a signal, but every detail also adds cost. The nest must hold weight, resist weather, and stay intact while the builder remains nearby and visible. Building demands fuel. Muscles tire. If the nest is rejected, the loss is total. All that time brings no return. The bird can abandon it. But abandoning means starting again from zero, with less energy than before. Not building avoids this cost, but it also removes any chance of success. Choice here is between risk now or failure for sure. Reproduction here is not promised. It is inspected. The weaver bird survives by committing early, spending energy before reward exists. It builds first, accepts exposure, and waits to be judged. Survival depends on whether the structure holds, because once the work is done, there is nothing left to explain. The color that attracts others is earned by staying exposed longer. Pink looks like a choice. Bright, clean, easy to notice. For this bird, it is not chosen. Color arrives through the body, and the body pays for it. Standing out removes cover. Bright feathers catch eyes. What looks attractive also fixes attention, and attention raises risk long before it brings any reward. Feeding sets the rhythm. The bird lowers its head into the water, turns it upside down, and begins to work. The bill sweeps and filters. Small particles pass. Useful ones stay. This motion repeats for hours. Slow, steady, exposed. Time spent feeding fixes location. Wind, glare, and movement from others all reduce control while the body stays bent and focused. The food carries pigment. The body stores it. Layer by layer, color builds. Efficient feeding deepens the shade. Inefficient feeding weakens it. There is no shortcut. To gain color, the bird must remain in place, filtering longer, risking more. What improves appearance also lengthens exposure to heat, to disturbance, to watchers at the edge. This method depends on stability. Water must hold the right mix. Flow must stay gentle. If conditions shift, food drops. Filtering takes longer. Color fades. Faded color changes how others respond. Opportunity narrows. The bird cannot choose to keep the color. It must earn it again, spending more time in the same open space where risk already waits. The flamingo carries the mark of where it feeds. Its body records the state of the water. When the place changes, the bird changes with it. First in color, then in outcome. Survival here is not painted on at birth. It is filtered in, hour by hour, from an environment that decides how much risk the body must take to be seen at all. The journey works only if the next place still exists when they arrive. Migration can look simple. Wings up, direction set, movement begins. For this bird, it is not that easy. Flying far is not the hard part. Flying the right way is. Distance without memory leads nowhere. A wrong path wastes energy, time, and safety. Here, survival depends on knowing where to go before leaving the ground. The cranes depart with the season, lifting together into familiar lines. They hold formation, follow routes used before, and aim for places already known. Each stop matters. Each pause is planned by habit, not choice. The journey works only if the next place still exists. Movement continues because memory says it should. That memory is not born whole. Young birds learn by staying close. They watch turns, height, timing. They copy when to rise, when to drop, where to slow. The map is not written inside one body. It lives in the group. Lose the group, and the path breaks. Alone, a bird can fly, but it cannot arrive. Risk builds when places change. A stop can dry out. Land can vanish. When that happens, the route still pulls the birds forward, but the ground does not answer. Energy burns while searching. Delay spreads through the group. Hunger grows. The danger is not falling. It is reaching the right time with no place left to land. The crane moves through space, but also through years. Each flight carries old choices forward. Memory guides the wings, but memory cannot adapt fast. When the world shifts, the past becomes a weight. Survival here depends on remembering a path that still works, and paying the cost when it no longer does. Staying near the nest removes surprise, but leaving it unfinished removes safety. The shape stands out right away. The head looks heavy, uneven, easy to notice. That difference carries cost. A strange outline draws eyes. Attention reduces cover, but the risk does not stop at shape. This bird accepts being seen because it chooses stability over escape. Once noticed, it cannot rely on speed to leave without loss. Its life centers on one place. The nest is large, far bigger than the body that builds it. Work happens over time. Sticks added, gaps filled, walls thickened. The bird returns again and again, following the same path. Repetition fixes location. Staying close to the nest removes surprise, but leaving it unfinished removes safety later. The head helps carry material, long pieces held firm, balance kept while flying short distances. The nest grows dense and deep. Size blocks wind. Height slows some attackers. But size also announces itself. A large structure marks territory to others. Protection increases, while invisibility disappears. Safety comes from strength of build, not from hiding. A fixed home limits options. Danger cannot always be avoided by moving away. If threats learn the location, the bird must defend or endure. Yet constant movement would cost more. Carrying materials across distance drains energy. Searching for new ground exposes the body again and again. The nest trades mobility for return, a place that holds when movement fails. To nearby people, this bird carries meaning and belief. To the bird itself, meaning is simpler. It needs a place that does not vanish overnight. Survival here is not about running faster or flying farther. It is about building something strong enough to stay, accepting visibility, and trusting that a solid return point reduces risk more than escape ever could. Across deserts, wetlands, oceans, and ice, every bird we've followed carries more than feathers and flight. They carry decisions shaped by hunger, risk, memory, and change. Each strategy we've seen is a response to a world that never stays still. Together, they form a living record of survival. Not loud, not simple, but precise. A reminder that beauty in nature is rarely effortless, and endurance is often hidden in the quietest moments. Thank you for joining BBTV Official on this journey into the amazing life of birds. If these stories stayed with you, help us continue sharing them. Subscribe, leave a comment, and tell us which bird's story lingered with you the longest. Until our next journey, may the wild remain visible and worth protecting wherever you are.